Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's Monday morning, it's the week leading to Christmas, and as you can see, it's a little overcast, but I'm sure the overcast conditions will clear up throughout the day. It'll be a cracker of a day. It's mild, it's warm, it's a little bit humid, and there's hardly any breeze at all. As you can see, the flags up there on the harbour bridge are only just fluttering slightly. What I want to do today to kick off the work week is to take you through a book that I've read myself cover to cover at least 2 times, and I've gone through the book with many annotations, many highlights, and I've gained many lessons from this particular book. And it's a book that was launched in 1991 by Anthony Robbins, entitled Awaken the Giant Within. I remember going to 2 Anthony Robbins seminars back in the mid-90s, and they were transformational experiences for me, as well as for all the other people that I went with. I was working at Telstra back then, and it was a course that was organised by the team, and the whole sales team went to this seminar, and I'm sure that most of us gained a tremendous amount out of it. So one of the key messages to come out of this book and Anthony Robbins is the call line that Anthony Robbins usually says throughout his seminar: if you can't, you must, and if you must, you can. So it's a call to action. If you can't, you must, and if you must, you can. And this book back then in the early 90s was groundbreaking, and the book and the material that Anthony Robbins has been able to use and to spread and to leverage off is something that has been the basis for many other books. For those who have been on the Jim's 5am Club journey, where I've delivered over 1,000 book summaries of personal development material, you'll notice that a lot of it is a rehash, and a lot of it was sourced from this particular book back in 1991. So the first formal point to come out of Anthony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within, is where we talk about habits and changing habits. And he says that a particularly good technique to employ in order to change a habit is where you're able to associate a bad habit with pain and a good habit with pleasure, because that pain-pleasure tango is something that influences the way we behave and the way we act. And the power of association is key, and it's used exclusively in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, to help us swap out our habits with new habits, and as we said, associate pain with the things that we want to get rid of, and associate tremendous pleasure with the things that we want to invite into our lives. Because Anthony Robbins says very clearly that all action that people take in their lives is either to avoid pain or to gain pleasure, and that people will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. And hence why a lot of movements, why the media spends a lot of its effort in creating fear, uncertainty and doubt, knowing very well that by spreading these things, people will be called to action, because people, through alarm, will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So in terms of a simple lesson, in terms of changing our lives, Anthony Robbins says that you need to swap out bad habits, you need to swap out disempowering habits with new good habits. You just can't stop a habit and not replace it, not swap it out with something new. We need to replace the bad with the new. We need something to fill the void. And he takes us through a concept of temptation bundling, where we replace one with the other, and where we sometimes do two things at once. Last year, about this time when I was working at Everleigh, I would go to the gym, I would exercise, and I'd also listen to a book summary or a book vlog. So I was doing two things at the one time. So using one to be the magic glue to enable me to do the other. So bundling good things together, productive things together, is another way of enhancing your time and and propelling yourself to do the things that you want, because you're doing or you're killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. The next thing that Anthony Robbins talks about, which is pretty powerful, is where he talks about the power of your vocabulary, transformational language. And he says that the language we use, the language we choose to use, is paramount and critical to helping us, become more productive, is the key message. Let me just hop on the train here so I can continue my journey, and we'll see where it takes us. So I just need to get on the train here and head off to Mascot, where I'm working today. So Anthony Robbins is very big on transformational language, the power of the vocabulary that we use, because he says that words have a powerful influence and are able to alter and influence our state, influence the way we think, influence the way we see the world, and influence the way we feel and behave. Because if you use different words, you can actually have a different experience. So Anthony Robbins is very big on using words to express and reinforce positive states, and also using words to play down the negatives. So the call to action, the homework for each and every one of us, is to be very cautious with the words that we use, be very selective and discerning with the words, because these words will significantly influence our experiences. And as I said before, Anthony calls it transformational vocabulary. And he makes a very good point also, that if you can't describe something clearly and unambiguously in language that is communicatable to yourself and to others, then you can't really think about it in a productive, powerful way. You can't feel it, you can't taste it, and you can't experience it. So it's critical for each and every one of us to have a big and a powerful vocabulary. Anthony goes on to say that most people have a habitual vocabulary of a few thousand words. Actually, it's a few hundred words that most people use to describe most of the things and communicate most of the things in their daily lives. But he says that most people have a complete vocabulary of a few thousand words. But of those words that we have to choose from, 3,000 of them are used to describe emotion in English. And believe it or not, 2/3 of those words, about 65-66%, according to research, are negative words. So we've got more negative words in our vocabulary, in our dictionaries, to describe negative feelings and negative events than what we have to describe the positive things in our life. So the key message is to try and be very selective and to manage your language. And by managing your language, you're managing your feelings, you're managing your expression, and you're managing your worldview in a productive way. So the last point to come out of this book, and as you can hear, there's a lot of chitter chatter on the station here. Our lives are overwhelmed with people telling us what to do, where to go, where to sit, how to behave. But Anthony says that it's critical that each and every one of us
Doors
have our
closing.
own rules
Please stand clear.
that we live by, work by, and manage our lives by. And he says to make up your own rules is a key thing. So to be productive in the rules that you have, to have rules, of course, to call you to action and to lift your standard. But he says that not only do you need to have your own rules and rule set, you need to continually communicate those rules and that rule set to others around you in an effective, sensitive way, because the rules that we have in our lives and the rules that we have others understand about us are there to increase our happiness and to try and manage our interactions.
Next stop is James.
Anthony says that it's important, it's critical that the rules that we have for ourselves and the rules that we communicate to others are empowering rules, and that we don't fall into the trap of giving away control with our rules to others, because once you give control away of your happiness, of your rules to others, then you're basically giving them the permission for you to be happy or sad, and that could be quite destructive. So make productive rules which are empowering, and communicate these rules as clearly as possible to the others around you. So I think I'll leave it there on this Monday, this first day of the work week. I look forward to coming to you again from a different location, a different place, with a different message of empowerment. I wish you a Merry Christmas in the lead up to Christmas. I guess most people will be signing off work at some point during the week, and hopefully we don't get too many issues with this Omicron variant of COVID. I do notice that it's coming closer and closer to each of our lives. I've got a good friend of mine who reported having COVID over the weekend. I've got a cousin of mine who got it during the week, and other friends of mine have been isolating because of the Omicron variant. So it's coming in leaps and bounds, and it's on its way, I guess, to most people's lives. So thank you once again for joining me,
This station
and I look
is
forward to
St. James.
chatting again, where we can take some
Doors
lessons,
closing.
some
Please
OPE,
stand
other
clear.
people's experiences, and blend them and fuse them into our lives to help us get more things done, more of the right things done, and to do it with less effort and less pain. So once again, this book here, Awaken the Giant Within, is jam-packed with life hacks that we can all use to improve ourselves and improve our lives, and I thoroughly recommend this book to each and every one of us. So take care and we'll chat again. Bye.